Megalodon was truly massive. That's a fact everyone knows. But in 2026, brand new research confirmed it. This wasn't just some really big shark, it was something far more complex and epic. Despite countless Hollywood blockbusters and mountains of scientific papers about this giant, two questions still haunt scientists. How did it grow so enormous, and what was its true upper limit? To understand how a creature like Megalodon could even exist, we need to compare it to the sharks that survived to our day.
Most of the time, when we hear claims about incredibly huge or extreme animals, it turns out the data is exaggerated, the species is misidentified, or it's not even recognized by science at all. But Megalodon was no myth or classification mistake. It was an officially recognized species that truly reached extreme sizes. Take the great white shark. It's considered the gold standard of ocean predators, yet even the largest verified specimens rarely exceed 20 feet. It's built for explosive speed bursts and high-calorie prey, but its size is strictly limited by harsh biological reality. The bigger you get, the more energy every single movement demands. If a great white somehow grew to 50 feet, it would simply starve to death trying to find enough food to keep its muscles working.
The only sharks that have ever broken through that size barrier are the whale shark and the basking shark, today's true titans of the ocean, reaching 40 feet or more. But they paid a massive price for that gigantism. They gave up hunting altogether and became filter feeders. They don't waste energy on huge teeth, powerful jaws, or high-speed chases. They simply drift along with their mouths wide open, scooping up microscopic plankton. Whales followed the exact same path. Feeding on plankton and small schools of fish lets them harvest enormous amounts of energy without the cost of chasing down prey. But when you put Megalodon next to these giants, there's no real competition. Logic says a creature that big should be eating krill or tiny organisms. Yet nature doesn't hand you 7-inch razor-sharp teeth if your food is half a millimeter long. Megalodon achieved whale-like sizes while remaining a full-on active predator, an evolutionary feat almost no other creature in ocean history has ever pulled off.
So, how did this actually work biologically? Let's start with the basics. Almost all modern sharks are cold-blooded, but Megalodon was warm-blooded, at least partially. Most sharks are completely dependent on water temperature. In cold water, their muscles slow down, digestion drags, and they're locked into a low-energy lifestyle. Megalodon, on the other hand, could maintain a body temperature significantly higher than the surrounding water. This gave it a massive advantage. It could swim faster, hunt effectively at greater depths in colder zones, and digest food much more quickly than any other shark.
The great white shark is one of the few modern fish that share a similar trait. But if warm-bloodedness is the secret to giantism, why does the great white still stay small? The answer lies in the cost. Being warm-blooded is incredibly expensive. It demands a constant, massive influx of energy. Great whites hunt fish or seals whose sizes are perfectly proportional to their own. But for Megalodon to fuel its colossal body, it needed something far more substantial. You simply can't survive on fish or plankton at that weight. The energy spent hunting would exceed what you'd gain from the meal. Megalodon was forced to play the highest stakes game in the ocean. It ate whale blubber. In the Miocene epoch, the ocean was a giant slow-motion buffet, packed with small to medium-sized baleen whales and pinnipeds, literally stuffed with fat. Blubber is the most energy-dense substance in the sea. For Megalodon, it was the only fuel capable of keeping its warm-blooded engine from stalling. Megalodon didn't just hunt whales, he literally obliterated them. Modern sharks use the classic bite and wait tactic. They inflict a wound and then hang back while their prey bleeds out. Megalodon couldn't afford to wait.
With a bite force of over 40,000 pounds, he crushed whale rib cages and pulverized internal organs in an instant. His jaws were engineered to end the fight right there, turning a living animal into a pile of calories in one devastating moment. Most predators kill first and eat later. For Megalodon, the act of eating was the killing itself. And as long as whales were abundant and relatively easy to catch, Megalodon ruled the world unchallenged. But sheer size alone doesn't explain his anomaly. Giants have appeared throughout history, yet Megalodon broke every scaling rule. Normally, as an animal gets larger, its strength increases, but biology hits a hard ceiling. Muscles can't grow infinitely thick. Bones can't become infinitely strong. Megalodon's jaws seemed to defy the laws of physics. Its bite was 10 times stronger than a great white's and 3 times stronger than a T-Rex's. Why such over-the-top brutality? Because at 60 feet long, you have zero margin for error. You're operating at the absolute physical limit. Either you kill instantly or you burn too much energy and die. Megalodon was evolution's direct response to the era when whales began dominating the planet. Whales used to be small, but then they grew larger and started packing on massive fat reserves. Predators had to keep up. You can't take down a 20-ton whale with a 5-ton body and expect to win. Whales could feed on plankton, but if you provoked one, it could smash you to pieces with a single tail strike in a heartbeat.
Strangely enough, with such a high-stakes strategy, Megalodon didn't stick to one corner of the ocean. Its teeth have been found all over the world, in Australia, Europe, Africa, and the Americas. It lived in the tropics and in cold temperate zones alike. For a 60-ton beast, traveling the planet was a total logistical nightmare. Every single mile burned an enormous amount of calories. A normal shark in cold water simply shuts down. Its metabolism freezes completely. But Megalodon, thanks to regional endothermy, ignored those boundaries entirely. It couldn't afford to be picky. If it didn't find whales constantly, it literally burned through its own reserves and starved to death. This was a multi-million-year gamble that paid off for a very long time.
Creating offspring for a 60-ton shark was a biological nightmare. Scientists have discovered ancient megalodon nurseries in Panama and Spain, and the scale is absolutely staggering. A newborn megalodon was already 6.5 feet long. From day one, it was bigger than an adult human and most modern sharks. Why were they born so enormous? Most likely because of the strategy called oophagy, eating eggs inside the mother. The embryos hunted and devoured their own brothers and sisters before they were even born. By the time it was born, the baby shark was already trained to kill. In the open ocean, there's nowhere to hide. Even a young megalodon lived side by side with other giants, including full-grown adults of its own species that would have eaten it without hesitation. Being born small meant instant death. Being born huge gave it a fighting chance. Adult megalodons provided zero parental care. To them, a pup was just a piece of protein and a future competitor. That's why the shallow coastal nurseries were absolutely vital. They physically separated the babies from the adult cannibals. The entire life of a megalodon was a relentless race for size. If 60 feet was already impressive, why not grow to 200 feet? Megalodon slammed headfirst into the square cube law. When an animal doubles in length, its weight doesn't just double. Surface area, muscles and skin increases 4 times, but volume and mass increase 8 times. Every extra foot of length came with a massive biological tax. By 60 to 65 feet, Megalodon had reached its absolute physical limit. Its mass grew so fast that the heart could no longer pump blood efficiently all the way to the tail. Its skeleton, made of flexible cartilage instead of solid bone, would have started to deform under the weight of its own organs. On top of that, the bigger you are, the better you retain heat. At a certain point, this becomes a deadly problem. Megalodon would have literally cooked its own organs from the heat generated by its muscles during movement. They had hit the absolute ceiling of what was physically possible for a shark. Megalodon was perfectly tuned for one single purpose: killing slow, fat whales in warm water. But in the Pliocene epoch, the world began to cool. Ocean currents shifted dramatically, and the endless buffet started to disappear. Whales either went extinct or did something Megalodon was completely unprepared for. They migrated. They became faster and moved into the icy polar waters, rich in nutrients. Megalodon was warm-blooded, but it wasn't a whale. It couldn't survive long in Arctic cold. For the first time in millions of years, Megalodon faced real competitors, early killer whales. They were much smaller, but they were smarter, faster, and most importantly, far more social. Megalodon had to find and kill a whale alone. A pod of killer whales worked as a coordinated team, surviving on far fewer resources. When Megalodon vanished, no one took its niche. Evolution usually fills gaps quickly, but even today, there is no 60-foot active predator in the ocean. Killer whales come closest, but they rely on strategy, not brute force. Sharks cannot be social. Over 400 million years, their brains evolved for one function only: detection. They cannot trust a fellow shark because it might eat them. For Megalodon, there was no category of friend, only food or enemy. Many theories claiming that Megalodon is still hiding in the deep ocean are completely baseless. The deep sea is an energy desert. There simply isn't enough calorie-rich food down there to sustain even a 10-foot shark, let alone a 60-ton warm-blooded monster. The baleen whales it would need are living too high up, swimming too fast, and scattered too far apart. If Megalodon existed today, it would starve to death within a week. And honestly, I'm glad that today we only have to deal with great white sharks.